Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Hope you are doing well. In this video today we will discuss a question related to meningitis. The previous video we have studied what is meningitis and how it is affected, what are the normal treatment management, diagnostic evaluations and some of the signs related to meningitis. Hope you all have watched that and you have some idea right now. Now we will see how to tackle or how to find the correct answer based on the information that we have. I will read the question. A nurse is evaluating an acutely ill client with a suspected meningitis. The nurse should take which action first? Okay, now a client, he might be in the emergency and the nurse, she is evaluating acutely ill client. And what is the suspecting? It might be meningitis. So the nurse should take which action first? Which means out of the all four options, all might be have to do, but one option will be the first intervention that the nurse should carry it out. I hope it's clear. Which means now we have four options. That four options might be correct or the intervention for correct intervention that have to complete. But one is the intervention that should do as an initial step, as an initial management. So we'll see the options. Option 1, check for Koenigs and Brodensky's sign. Option 2, establish IV access. Option 3, place the client on droplet precautions. Option 4, prepare the client for lumbar puncture. So what do you think? So we have studied that when a client is diagnosed or during the time of examination, the doctor will perform Koenigs and Brodensky's sign. What is that? Koenigs sign means when the thigh is flexed 90 degree and the doctor or the examiner is trying to make the complete leg straight, it could not be possible because of the severe pain. It's like a little flexed. Just like the thigh, now the thigh is like 90 degree flexed and the leg is like this. Actually the leg should become straight, but it could not become straight because the client you have meningitis. So that is Koenigs sign. And the Brodensky sign means now the client in a lying supine position and the doctor just hold the hand, keep the hand here and try to flex the neck. At the same time, the hip and legs also flexed. We are not, the doctor or the examiner is not doing anything in the hips or legs. He is only just trying to flex the neck. Thus, while he is trying to flex the neck, the hip and the leg also flex. So that is the Brodensky sign. If this both signs are positive, we will tell, okay, this client have meningitis. And the confirmation of diagnosis is based on the CSF analysis. So when a client come to the emergency, do you think this is the first one the nurse should do? She will start to check the Koenigs and Brodensky sign? No. This is an assessment. But before doing assessment, there are certain things she have to complete to protect herself, to protect other clients and to protect all the healthcare providers. What is that? Option 3, place the client on droplet precautions. I hope all of you might got the answer, but I just want you to think in such a way. If you don't have an idea, you should think in such a way. Okay, what is this Koenigs sign or what is this Brodensky sign? Did that the one I should do first? Or I should isolate the client first? Because now I suspected, I don't know which kind of meningitis is this and I don't know what is the organism. So first thing I have to isolate the client and I should put the droplet isolation. So that is the initial step. And we'll see some points related to this. The client with the suspected bacterial meningitis should be placed on droplet precaution isolation. Until what time? Until the causative agent has been identified and proper treatment initiated. Proper treatment means the therapy like after until the 24 hour or after 24 hour, it can be, there is no problem to continue the isolation. It can be discontinued, the precautions. Then the meningococcal meningitis and the Haemophilus influenza type B meningitis are highly transmissible to others and the client must remain on droplet isolation until this can be ruled out. Why we will first do the droplet isolation? Because these two type of meningitis, the meningococcal meningitis and Haemophilus type, influenza type B meningitis, it will be spreading. It is contagious. It will transmit to others. So preventing that, the first thing we will take the droplet precaution. Then we will start with the assessment, whether Broden's-His-Stein, Koenig-Stein. Then we will do the CSF analysis. Then we will go with another option you can see in this question, that is the establish IV access. So these three steps have to do. But the first thing to prevent further transmission, or prevent or to find out which organisms, then we will start with all other treatments. Then some other points also, precautions can usually be discontinued 24 hours after beginning the antibiotic therapy. That is also a point that you should keep in your mind, because sometimes the questions will be confusing. They will give 4 options, some before 24 hours, some for until the disease will subside or resort. They will give confusing options. So if you have a clear idea, it will be easy for you. Precautions can be usually discontinued until what time? 24 hours after beginning the antibiotic therapy. Then viral meningitis or other type of bacterial meningitis usually do not require droplet precautions. What is the specialization or the difference of CSF if it is viral or bacterial meningitis? If it is a bacterial meningitis, while you are doing CSF examination, the CSF it's like cloudy. But if it's viral, it's like clear as CSF. So that is a difference. And usually while you are doing the CSF evaluation, in a normal client, the glucose is elevated, or the glucose will be the one more compared to WBC and protein. But when the client have meningitis infection, the WBC count as well as the this protein will be elevated, and the CSF pressure also will be elevated, and the glucose will be decreased. So these are some of the difference and the points that we will keep in our mind. I hope it's clear to you. So all other 3 options also we have to do, but the initial or the primary intervention that the nurse should carry it out if she suspects a client who is diagnosed into meningitis, that is the droplet precaution. Hope it's clear. We'll come with some other questions on the next video. Bye for now. Take care and do well for your exams.